Hi, welcome to Project Geospatial. I'm Adam Simmons at the GEOINT 2025 Symposium in St. Louis, Missouri. This round, I have the pleasure of talking with Aaron of Upslope Advisors. Do I have that correct?
No, you don't.
No.
You know my nickname. You know
Oh my gosh.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
You're going to make me call you Mr. GEOINT?
Yes.
I don't know. I
am.
think it's debatable. You're not even wearing the t-shirt. And I don't know. Guess who's got that license plate, man? GEOINT, GeoGeek. I think I got my brand name there too.
Well, I am Mr. GEOINT. I'm Mr. GEOINT, and I'm glad I could come to St. Louis for my conference. It's been great. You're welcome.
You want to talk about GEOINT in terms of let's see, branding here. Let's see, Mr. GEOINT. You know who has the GEOINT license plate? Keith Masbeck.
I am not surprised about that.
Yeah. So we talking about you have some branding on your license plate says Mr. GEOINT.
It's going to happen right now. It's working on that.
You gotta expand that brand.
I know. And me and Keith have to have a long conversation about that later. About I might have to go after him for copyright because he's going after my title.
Whoa, okay. You heard it here first. We're going to see a legal battle between Keith Masbeck and Aaron here. All right, so what else we got on the table? What you been up to lately?
Oh, man. It's been interesting. Number one, GEOINT. This is my favorite event, right?
Why is it your favorite event?
This is where my friends are. This is my family. This is the GEOINT family. This is where I see everybody I haven't seen in a long time.
I feel the same way. This is truly like a family reunion that happens every year.
Yeah, like when you're coming back from college and you come back from a homecoming or something, you see everybody you haven't seen in a long time.
Right.
And it's great. And even for people, you're like, oh, I'll call you later, and they don't talk for the year. You go right back. You hit the people that you haven't talked to in a year. You do the same thing like you've been hanging out forever, right? And this is a great event, and it's and the only reason I like GEOINT is you could do GEOINT, from start to finish. It's like a great conference. They serve you breakfast in the morning, dinner at night, all the different socials have food. You could do this whole thing. You don't actually have to pay for anything once you land here.
You're gonna make me have a new trading card. It's like Food Leech or something like that.
Right, like this. Actually, I told some younger guys here, the challenge you go is try to go all GEOINT without paying for anything.
Oh boy, there was a year I tried doing that. Now it's just like, well, I'm getting older. I can't handle that.
Yeah, I'm like, I want to get some real food outside. Let's go get some real food.
Can't snack on everything. But no, that's awesome. So in terms of, what would you say the coolest thing you've seen this conference is?
Oh, you know what? And the coolest thing I said was, I don't know who was speaking this morning. They were talking about how they were using OpenAI to geolocate pictures. Like, did you hear about that this morning? I forgot who it was, but there was a thing about just using OpenAI and just loading a picture. And from a picture and looking at soil and all that stuff, was able to geolocate where this thing was.
Well, that's incredible.
I'm like, that's
just insane. The context of the picture.
Yeah, just like,
wow. They
were like, well, this is here and this is here. And they gave like 3 options, and every time, now it was a CAN event, so CAN, but I'm pretty sure that's a really great thing that if it's able to do that. Scary, a little scary, but it's great also. But besides that, honest, I have to say, the number of people are not here as much as last year because of what's going on in the world. But I think it's actually a good thing because there's been better conversations. Then there's so much going on. You can actually walk around. You can make time for people. You're having conversations. So it's been great.
You bring up a good point. Would you say there is something to be said about having maybe a more smaller, more intimate conference? Obviously having a lot of people at GEOINT can be really good and healthy, but also maybe having a smaller event, maybe it's where the times are heading.
Yeah, I think this is great, man. I mean, at least for me, I've talked to pretty much everybody I needed to talk to, right? I found out, for where these small businesses are going, large businesses like Gravity, that wasn't here last year, right?
Oh, wasn't that Royce Geo?
Yeah, the Royce Geo. Now they've grown and seen what they're doing, and that's another thing I like about this conference. You can actually see how people have grown over the last 4 or 5 years, 6 years to see like, well, you used to doing this. Now you're up here.
Right.
I really enjoy that.
Awesome. Well, let's shift the conversation a different way. You are heavily involved as well, just as much as I am in the open source community.
Yes. Here it is. It's getting close to the time that people think of open source, they kind of think of negativity with it.
Why? What do you mean negativity?
Yeah, because they see it as like, oh, it's open source, it's nothing, it's not controlled, the Wild West. But let's be very clear, a lot of these FOSS tools,
Free and open source software, by the way.
Yes, acronyms, right? They work just as well as other tools. Everybody, if you know me, I'm very big on QGIS.
It has a lot of support, a lot of maintenance behind it. It's very stable. And NGA actually has a QGIS on the inside now.
Yeah, yes, it does. And I like to consider, like, you take QGIS versus ArcGIS Pro. This is what I tell people. This is a Coke Pepsi conversation now. But the only difference is the Coke is free, and the the Pepsi, which is ArcGIS, costs money. So you can use Coke. I mean, there's certain things, like if there's something interesting. I challenge everybody to do this. If you go into Google Trends, you ever heard of that? Google Trends?
Oh, absolutely. I honestly didn't know it was still a thing.
Yeah. If you go on Google Trends and just put ArcGIS Pro and QGIS and kind of see where it is.
Oh, where it is in terms of word map?
Yeah, they'll see, like, absolutely in the United States, ArcGIS Pro is king. I'm not going to lie about that. But if you look at the global, you'll see, like, when you get outside the United States, the rest of the world uses QGIS. So you gotta take stock in that people are using this to do good things.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know how much it costs to maintain QGIS. Like I remember they published one time how much it costs, because a lot of it's open source.
Well, it's a checks and balances too, right? So there's a balance to all things, and I also consider it a good Esri's good software too, but it's nice to have an alternative, and also keeps them on their toes.
Yeah, and that's too. And I tell people also about ArcGIS, and I'm not like this. I tell people, if you got ArcGIS Pro and you got an Esri license, use it. It is awesome. They got support. It is great. But I'll say, people, if you don't have the money for the ArcGIS license, if you're not using it for that.
Well, you know what? And sometimes you need a software that only takes 3 clicks to make a shapefile other than 20. So I give them that. A little poke on the bear there.
Oh, but I guess, like, if you could do that, and, like, if you're not using it for their full use, go open source. If I know when I had to do this thing overseas, and the people there couldn't use ArcGIS Pro because they didn't have the license, so QGIS came in and solved that. And that's the same thing with GeoServer and the rest of the tool.
Right. Let's talk about a couple of the conferences that you're involved with from an open source perspective. You got the next big one is we got the State of the Map conference with Maggie Colley and the OpenStreetMap crew coming up. State of the Map up in Boston.
Boston.
You going to that one?
So I'm scared of my wife. So let's just start off there. That's the same weekend. I just come back from a trip right before.
Maggie's going to be sad.
I know, but hey, I am a sponsorship of State of the Map. You heard it here first. You got it on recording like that. But I think that's great, because you find out a lot about OpenStreetMap and how you really use it and the applications of it, because you can do so much with
Absolutely.
it. And I tell everybody, OpenStreetMap is like my favorite base map, because you find out stuff that's going on from that.
Well, it's my favorite from a developer standpoint, because you need a base map to start off with from a startup standpoint, and all the times the big APIs, Google, Apple, whatever, you never know if you're going to hit that quota and you're going to get charged money, and it's a great OpenStreetMap's a great startup API to use in the background of all your applications.
Yeah.
Long term, but especially short term to get your MVP going.
Yeah,
So,
and there's something using their overpass application.
oh yeah, to call in all the individual layers.
Yeah, and so I actually helped a city do this before. I showed them how to do a query, and they want to know what updates were made in their city. I'm like, here, this is how you do a query of the last 24 hours of what updates have happened. And they use it to this day. It was something I was just doing it like we're talking right now.
Right.
I went in there, showed them how to do it, and they still do this up to this day.
So we also have one more conference we're going to talk about, and that's coming up in November.
Oh.
You gonna know what this one is?
Oh yes. This is called FOSS4G North America. It is a great conference. This is the open source conference, and it talks about open source technologies and how to use it. And what I really like about this conference, it gets into how you use these things for your day-to-day. It takes away the stigma, open source is bad, open source is whatever. It actually shows that we're using this for mission. We're using this for our everyday life, and this is how we did this
This
thing.
is not just a developer conference.
Yeah.
This is developers and users, people at home, hobbyists, also people in the industry, businesses, anybody who uses open source. And you don't have to always advertise your company when you do a proposal or a speaker.
Yeah.
You can just be you that uses open source technology, that wants to share something awesome and cool about a project you're doing that takes advantage of the technology. So
Yeah.
you meet everyday people.
You meet everyday people, and you find about use cases you didn't know about.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you could use this for this.
Yeah.
Oh, and actually, I could build this out.
Yeah.
And actually, we submitted a, I don't know if we're going to be accepted, but we submitted something for FOSS4G this year. And what we're doing is
Our program committee is really strict.
No, but our thing was we're doing this right now, taking a model that was built out with Esri.
Right.
Works great model, and we're testing our thing. Can it be reproduced with open source?
Right.
And it's going to be interesting. And it's not to say it will be, it might not be. We don't know what's going to happen, but we're actually going to see the pros and cons of it. Maybe it's faster when we go open source. Maybe it's slower. I don't know. But it's actually exciting to actually try this out in open source stuff.
Well, awesome, Aaron. We're going to wrap up here, but any last-minute words you'd like to relay to our audience about the awesome work that you do as Mr. GEOINT in the community?
Yeah.
See, I said it there.
Yeah, there you go.
And, Bosby.
Oh, yeah. Two things I just want to mention is one of our projects I want to get off the ground this year is start getting geospatial, more obviously probably going to be open source, or it could be anything, into the younger communities. Getting them started, getting them smart on it. I don't know what's going on with youth mappers because what stuff is going on, but I think that's a great program to get. Let's use OpenStreetMap, as you know, and it's getting people started on how to teach people how to map earlier in life. So that's one of my passions that I'm going to be really working on here.
Okay.
Another thing I'll do a shout out for my company, Upslope. Right now, we got our first big geospatial contract at SBA, so supporting disaster management and actually using geospatial to help before and after, and how to help with the modeling of what would the impact of something. We can think about a tornado, we can think about a fire, but we can think about the smoke impact. What's the radius? Who's really affected by this stuff? So I'm very excited about my company there. Shout out to Nathan Smith. He's leading that effort for us. He's a guy that's known in this community. But I'm excited. Those are two things I'm most excited about. One, teaching more kids how to use geospatial, because it is the future, right? And then number two, having the big boy contract of doing geospatial at scale, and doing it for SBA with their disaster management.
Awesome. Awesome work. Thanks. Thank you very much for talking with me, having a fun conversation about everything going on in the community.
No, like this. I like this. We could have done this now. We could have done this at.
We can do this anytime. We can do this anytime. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks, Aaron. And this is Adam Simmons with Project Geospatial. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to everybody next time.